before I jump into it to give my thoughts on who I think is going to win the Sun Belt Championship this year, I do want to give a special salute, a special shout out to James Madison. Now, James Madison, in their first year of FBS football, they made their transition from the Colonial Athletic Conference in the FCS ranks, and now they are here at the Sun Belt, and they went 8-3. They actually put together a really good year this past season. They really did. They really did manage to do just that, right? So, unfortunately for James Madison, they were not bowl eligible, and not only were they not eligible, they were a team that, because of the fact that they weren't bowl eligible, they were not eligible to go to the Sun Belt Championship. So they tried to send in a waiver that would allow them to, get that removed earlier. They are in year 2 of that, but all things considered, just a tough look. It's a tough look for sure. They did end up getting denied, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, so James Madison will not be competing for a Sun Belt title. They will not be competing for a bowl game either. And I think that's a shame. And I think that's a topic of conversation for another pod, because I don't want to get too deep into this rant. But long story short, I don't like it. So I got to look at other teams in terms of who I really like, in terms of who I think is going to win the Sun Belt this upcoming season. Now, a lot of people are going to be gushing over Troy. And, Troy, they had a great season last year. Like Tulane, they went 12-2. There's going to be a lot of preseason love for the Troy Trojans. But I have a couple of concerns about this Troy Trojan squad. This was a team that was built on its defense last year, and they lost some key guys on defense. And I also had concerns about how they didn't have a consistent running game. And because of the fact that this defense kind of carried the team, and now they can't rely as much on that defense. So this offense that didn't have that much of a running game, didn't have the balanced offense. They need to get it together on the offensive side of the ball. So Troy's going to have a good season. Don't get me wrong. I still like Troy, but I don't think they're a 12-2 team. I don't think they repeat for the Sun Belt Conference Championship this year. I don't see it. I do not see it. But there's a couple other teams that I could be looking at in terms of possibly winning the Sun Belt this year. Could it be South Alabama? Could it be a Coastal Carolina or even a Marshall? Marshall is now, by the way, in the Sun Belt. They are here and they are proud. But I look at another team in the Sun Belt, another team that did win 10 games last year. They were not there to conference championship, but they did win 10 games last year. South Alabama is that team that I'm thinking of in terms of who I'd really like to see win the Sun Belt Championship this year. And I like what they got going on. So this is a team that had a very good defense of their own last year. And not only will their defense still be good, the ground attack should be stronger. We have a good indication that South Alabama is going to be a team that is going to be better on the offensive side of football, and their defense is about the same. So South Alabama was not too far from surpassing Troy in the conference standings. It went down to them playing in 2022, and it was close. It was a 6-10 loss at Southern Alabama, but it was a 4-point loss. It could have really gone either way. And now we're looking at a situation where, okay, Troy is probably a little worse than last year, but South Alabama, meanwhile, they might be the same, or they might be a little bit better. Dude, South Alabama this could be a team that not only wins the Sun Belt, but they could also be a team that could flirt with 10 wins yet again this year. I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. I think this team could potentially win 10 games, including the bowl game. 2 years in a row that would happen. And that would be an extremely big accomplishment for the South Alabama program, because South Alabama has not been playing football for too terribly long at all. They don't have a lot of that quote unquote recent history. So I think that's certainly possible. I think that's an irrelevant possibility. And if I had to pick today, yeah, I would pick the South Alabama Jaguars to win the Sun Belt this year. Now, that being said, a couple of dark horses to watch out for. Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina does have Grayson McCall back. Defense does need to be a lot better. Marshall, they'll have a good ground game. Their ground and pound defense should be very good, but passing attack has to be more consistent. Yeah, those two, and then James Madison. James Madison can't compete for the Sun Belt Championship, but they could certainly mix some things up. Well, that's for sure.